What's up, everyone? Welcome to another midweek recap. I am going to be breaking down a lot of new setups, talking about some swing trades, and going through any questions that any of you may have. So let me just make sure that we're live and that everything is good. Just make sure that we have audio and everything. Okay, it looks like we're good. So we have 7 people so far. Thank you very much for joining me. That's great to see that we have a good turnout so far. And yeah, I'm still battling that cough, so forgive me if I'm coughing throughout the stream. But the first thing that I want to talk about, as always, is let's look at the futures market and let's talk about kind of what played out so far. Hi, Matthew. Welcome. So at the beginning of the week, so we kind of went through this last time, but at the beginning of the week, we had an inside open, right? And what I was talking about was looking for the first impulsive leg, which we had from this low to this high. And you can see, that we traded to the 50% retracement. And from the 50% retracement, we actually traded directly to the 272 extension, and we tried to reverse there, right? So the market tried to reverse there. And if you did short right here at 41.40, that was still good for, let's see how many points you could have got. 41.40, still good for about 25 points. So that was a pretty awesome short because we knew that we had this impulsive leg. If we draw it from here, right, we had this push up and this pullback right to the 50, trade to the extension, right? And then from the extension, we had a sell-off a little bit. So the question is, and I pointed this out on Twitter the other day, the question is, okay, so what do we do next, right? So coming into this last rally, what I did was I actually drew the next Fibonacci leg in the sequence. Okay, so here was the first leg in the sequence. And once this leg trades to extensions, then we need to draw the next leg. So the next leg is taking it from this swing low up to the swing high. And this is what I called out on Twitter yesterday, right? So let's go to Twitter. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about, right? So I'm always posting these things to help you guys out. Right, so here was the initial call on April 14th at 2:45 p.m. Said nice 13-point pop from the 618. So as we can see here, what that became was a consolidation right here on the 618. And then from there, we had a almost 50-point pop, guys. So really, really good. The Fibonacci has been working amazing and has been doing very, very good. And, you know, in my book, I go through a lot more detail on the Fibonacci, but I just want to point out so far this week, there were 2 valid Fibonacci trades and both of them went for exceptional winners. All right. So does anyone have any questions about futures, about the fibs? We can go through anything you guys want to. A few things that I want to point out is we had some amazing inside bars. Prab says, hi, Rich. Thanks for education. Thank you. Ken says, I've been saying very fibby. Yes, Ken is one of my moderators in my Discord channel in my private room. And he's been saying that, I think, for the past few weeks now that we've been fibby. And that's exactly what's been happening. So what does it mean, guys? When the Fibonaccis are working really well, what does it mean? Well, it means that the market is more dominated by algorithms, right? That's what it means. It means that the markets are being more dominated by algorithms. And if that's the case, then you need to understand that as a retail trader, you can't move the market. You can't, if you short, the market's not going to crash. If you go long, the market's not going to pop. What you need to do is understand where is the order flow coming from, where are the levels, and play on the side of the robots. That's literally what you got to do in these type of environments. All right. So the other thing I wanted to point out, how do you know which fib levels are likely to be a top bottom for that leg? So that's a great question. So in my book, I talk about different ways to trade the Fibonacci. But in general, the 50 and the 618, this zone is usually the sweet spot for on-trend Fibonacci moves. So when the market is moving very one directional, so let's look at this, right? So if we zoom out together, we can see that this market is very one directional, right? We've just been making higher lows, higher highs. Anytime we have higher low, higher high, clear trending, then we can expect the 50 or the 618, this zone, to be the key areas. And if you wanted to wait for a price action confirmation, we actually had a doji candle here and an inside bar, right? So you could have waited for the price action patterns to confirm that you wanted to take the fit, right? And also over here, look what we have, another beautiful inside bar pattern. So at the Fibonacci levels, we get also confirmation through candlestick patterns. We have the doji, we have the inside bars. So overall, there was a lot of confirmation at the levels as well. So very straightforward. You take your chances, right? So let's say we take this play here and we make maybe 5 to 10 times our money. We can be wrong on the next 5, the next 4 to 9 trades, we can be wrong. So that's what trading really comes down to, is taking your shots and making sure that when you're right. So like if you took this trade, you're going to make a lot of money. And then now that money needs to be protected for the rest of the week, the rest of the month. And that's the correct way to trade, is taking high probability setups and looking for a great risk to reward. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate the questions. What do you think of the price action of the EBET IPO? So we'll look at that. So before I move on, and sorry guys, I'm very much apologize for this cough. I've been battling something for the last few weeks. I wanted to talk about the price action in the intraday. Okay, guys? So one thing that I want to talk about today. So the topic of today's video is how to succeed, right, in the stock market in 2021. And what I want to teach you guys today is that the market is fractal. Okay? The market is fractal, just like the universe is fractal, right? So I don't know if you guys have, looked into different theories and science and all that, but there's a fractal nature to the way things are, right? So what is happening on the higher time frames in trading is also happening on the lower time frames. And this is a concept that if you can master it, you can really succeed in trading. And what I mean by that is, if we look on the hourly chart, we have a nice 618 pullback, right? But what about the 5-minute chart? So let's look at the 5-minute chart today, okay? So here's the 5-minute chart. And let me get rid of the fib so we can draw them together, okay? Here's the 5-minute chart. What do we have in the morning? We have a great push up, okay? We have a strong vertical push in the upward direction. And this is on trend because the market has been trending upwards. So what do we do from here? Well, in my book, guys, I talk about the morning leg. So here, let's draw the morning leg. If we take it from this low to this high, okay, here is the morning leg. And look what we have at the 50% retracement. We have a double bottom. We have 2 hammer bars. We have an inside bar. We have a lot of confirmation. And we also have a waterfall, okay? So from there, look at this, okay? 50%, okay? Pull back to the 50, trade to the 272 extension. Exactly what we're seeing on the hourly chart, right? If I start back from here, our initial leg, see, very similar, right? We pull to the 50 and we go to the 272 zone and reverse. And that's exactly what happens on the 5-minute chart, right? So this is the concept of fractal trading. What happens on higher time frames will happen on lower time frames. So it's your job to determine what are your strategies? What are you going to trade? Are you going to trade on lower time frame? Are you going to trade on higher time frame? Are you going to trade on both? That's your job. You need to figure out what is going to work for you, right? But the main takeaway is what's going to work for you in 2021. It's going to be having a strategy and knowing your time frame, right? So what do I mean by knowing your time frame? Are you swing trading or are you day trading? Both of them are very, very different, and they need to have different parameters, right? Swing trading is a lot more, I would say, flexible. Day trading is very quick, and you need to be ready. Okay, you need to have a plan before they open. You can't take your time. When I do swing trading, like tomorrow in the private room, I'm going to be posting 5 to 10 new trades, and I have all weekend to prepare for that. But when I'm day trading, if I don't have the plan before the open, then it's going to be very difficult to make money. So Ken says, I trade on 3 minutes because I want to be done by 11 a.m. So bring on the speed. I love that. So Ken, the 3-minute chart is very powerful, and it works a lot. It works very well, especially when the market is kind of tight, when the range in the overall market is not as volatile. The 3-minute chart can work very, very well. I've actually tested the 3-minute chart and the 5-minute chart very extensively. And I will say that the 3-minute chart has periods of time where it outperforms a 5-minute chart. So it really depends on a personal preference. So if you're doing really well with the 3-minute chart and you're done by 11 a.m., so your work day is basically an hour and a half, more power to you. That's awesome. Why not 2 minute? I found 2 minute better than 3 minutes. So Matthew says he finds a 2 minute better than 3 minute. So from my experience, it depends on the instrument. So S&P 500 versus like trading Tesla, there's going to be very different price action on the different time frames. So what you should do, and what I recommend to everyone, is make sure that you do a back test of the time frame that you want to trade on each instrument. So that way you can be confident in what you're doing before you actually take the trades. Okay, so Blues Rock Addict has a great question, but let me look at NASCAR All Out's question before I forget. So let's look at this. EBET. Okay. So this is a great question on how do we look at IPOs, right? So from a technical perspective, my rule is I need at least 1 week of data in order to analyze the stock, okay? Because what I want to see with 1 week is the high and the low, and then I want to make a decision if I'm going to buy the breakout or if I'm going to wait for inside bar consolidation, okay? So I need at least 1 week, right? If we look at the daily chart, this is the first day, obviously, so there's really nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can there's no way you can do technical analysis on one candle, because technical analysis is always looking at, what is it looking at? Patterns and relationships, and you need data to do that. All right. So we can definitely look at this again on the Sunday Stock Talk, and we'll go to the weekly chart, and then we can make a plan together as a team. All right. So we can work together on this. But generally, what I really like with IPOs, the strategy that I like a lot with IPOs, is looking for inside bar breakouts. So if you guys have any IPOs of recent memory, please throw them in the chat and we'll look at them. I'm going to pull up a few that I know. Right. So here's Airbnb. Okay. So this is one that comes to mind of recent. So if you guys have anyone that you want to look at, we can look at them together. But what I mean by waiting for the inside bars on these weekly charts, look at this on Airbnb here. See, we have a inside bar breakout. We have another inside bar breakout, and then we have an inside bar breakdown. So that's kind of what I'd like to see, right? The other thing that I like to look at is the fibs. So right here, if I'm looking at Airbnb for the first 5 weeks since the IPO, I can draw that fib right here, and I can see right here we have the 618 with a nice doji. So that's what I'm really looking for. All right, so let's see what else we got. Roblox. Again, you see that? So Blues Rock Addict, do you see how beautiful that is? Thank you very much for sharing this. Look at that. Okay, guys, inside bar, boom, breakout, good money. That's good money right there. See what we can get. See what we can get off of this thing. Yeah, easily 3 times your money on that. So very, very beautiful. Okay. So you with these IPOs, you want to wait for a setup. So coin is obviously still within the first week. BMBL. Again, look at this. Inside bar breakdown. Short, short, beautiful, right? So overall, IPOs do present a lot of great trading opportunities, especially when they consolidate, right? When an IPO consolidates, there's a better opportunity because um, when it's consolidating, it's building volume and it's building pressure. It's building buyers and sellers and it's ready to explode, right? So this is why when we have an IPO, if we can get it inside the bar, especially on the weekly chart, that's going to be very, very powerful. So NASCAR All Out, I'm excited about EBIT because it had the same underwriter as UTME, and both stocks traded similar in the first day. UTME ran up 100 in the first hour of trading and of trading the second day. That's awesome. Yeah. Just my advice on these IPOs is always have a set dollar amount that you're willing to risk and stick with it because they're very volatile, obviously, and you can make a lot, but you can also lose a lot. So make sure you know when you're coming to the table what your risk is, right? Make sure you don't risk everything because if it doesn't work out, you're going to be in trouble. All right. Blues Rock Addict. I think your question was about back testing. Let me go back up and read that question. Could you talk about your strategy backtesting process? What tools do you use, which time frames, etc.? All right, that's a great question. So let's go here. Okay. So this is how I track everything and backtest as well as continuously looking through my systems. So you guys know I have the triangle system, the limit system, 5-minute inside bars, as well as fibs that I use, and I track the results every single week. What I do here, guys, is I use a simple Excel spreadsheet and I record based on my rules, the win rate, the expected profit, etc. So I have rules that I have written down for each one of my systems based on my testing and based on my brainstorming and experience, etc. And that's how I do it. I backtest, I have win rates, I have drawdowns and winning streaks. And from there, I look for ways to improve my systems over time. All right. So that's pretty much how I do it. It's a lot of work, but you gotta love it to a certain extent in order to succeed because it's a lot of work. It's a lot. Sam, non-IPO question. For inside bar in the same sector, do you have preference between stocks that are above the 8-day EMA versus those that are hugging A20-day C, CPE versus FANG? Okay, let's take a look. So let's look at CPE. All right, so the 8 EMA is going to be somewhere right here. And the other one is FANG. And it's a little bit closer. Okay. So the answer to your question, Sam, is when it comes to inside bars, I treat every single on the daily. Okay. When it comes to inside bars, so I'll start off first when I swing trade. When it comes to inside bars, when I swing trade, I do not care about the moving averages at all. Quite simply, I don't really care about the moving averages. I'm looking for mostly high volume trap traders. That's what I really looking for. I'm looking for trapped traders when I do the inside bars because I want to take advantage of any person that can get stop run. I want to be the person to run the stop, right? Because those are very powerful trades. So let me see if I can. Well, we have a bunch of swing trades that were in this week. So let me use them as an example. So let's go here, swings. So let's look at from one of these winners here. Let's look at Roku. Okay. It's on the weekly. So this is what I mean by it. So this is one of the trades we took in the private swing room, and we already hit first and second targets, and we still have a portion of the trade on. But this is what I mean by what I look for trap traders. So we had an inside bar. So this was my signal to go long on Roku when we broke right above here. And the reason is because we had a false breakdown, right? So we had this double inside bar pattern and we did break to the short side. But as soon as we broke to the short side, we didn't have much follow through. Instead, we had an inside bar, right? Which basically means more consolidation. So what this showed me here is that there's a lot of trap shorts here, 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 and here. And look exactly what happens. When we break through these price points, we pop up and stop run, right? And that's what I did on this Roku trade. So I'm mostly looking for who's trapped. I'm looking for that aspect of the inside bar. And from a daily perspective, again, if I'm day trading a ticker, so let's go back to your examples here. So if I'm day trading a ticker, then I'm mostly looking for the open, okay? So let's go to 15-minute chart. I'm looking for the open. So where are we opening in relationship to the inside bar? Are we opening near the highs? Are we opening near the low? Because that's going to give me a clue for the momentum. That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for the great question. All right, guys. Keep throwing out the questions at me as you have them. I find these conversations very good and we can share ideas with each other. So some of those IPOs that that you guys have brought up, let's make a note and let's check back at the end of the week. And on Sunday Stock Talk, we'll go through them and see what opportunities there are available. And Roku was awesome. Yeah, Ken, Roku was an awesome trade. We've been doing really well in the swing trading room this month. And I'm very happy because when the market is moving clearly in one direction, you need to capitalize on that. Whether it's short or whether it's long, it doesn't matter. When it's trending, you should be able to capitalize. So not only am I capitalizing in the swing trades in the swing trading room, but my long-term account is doing very, very well. So Microsoft was my biggest holding. And this is in my long-term investing account. Microsoft was my biggest holding. And my average cost, guys, was somewhere around here. I was adding to Microsoft all down here throughout these periods of time. So I am, let's see. I think I'm like 60 or 70%. Yeah. So with I did average in a few times. So with averaging in, I'm about 70% return. So very happy with the long-term portfolio, very happy with the swing trading. Things have been going very well. And Ken says Roku was a fib from November 2nd low. So let's look at that together. It's November. Here's November 2nd, right? Let's draw it together. And look at that right there on the 618. We had a nice pop. So very, very beautiful. Yep. Ken, I totally agree with you. Okay. Jason has a good question. Let's look at it together. So Jason's question is, Roku daily today is an inside bar. Let's say tomorrow breaks a high. Would you stop out if it breaks today's low right away, or would you let it play out and see how the candle closes? For my swing trade, Jason, I've already done the hard part and I've already locked in most of my profits. So the rest of the position is just a break-even trade. So this, if you can see here, this is the entry. So we got in on Roku at 342.68. So we already made money. So now the hard part is done. What we're doing with the rest of the position is the stop loss is at break-even. So whatever happens with Roku, as long as the stop loss is at break even, we don't really care, right? Because we already paid ourselves. So from the swing trading perspective, we're already good. But in terms of day trading for Roku, right? What I would do is wait for, if we were to open a trade tomorrow to break today's high. So that's a good question. So I wouldn't open a trade to break the high per se. That's not how I trade those daily setups. So what I would do instead is mark today's high and mark today's low. So let's do that together. Why can't I move? Okay, that's fine. We'll go here, horizontal line. So here's today's high. Okay, and then here's today's low right here. So what I'm gonna do, if I were to trade Roku tomorrow, so Roku's gonna go on my list for sure for tomorrow, is looking for the price action patterns when we open. So if we open somewhere here in this zone in the middle, I won't be really too excited to take a day trade because it could just be more consolidation. But if we open near the extremes, either near the high or near the low, that would be great momentum because that's showing us the potential to break through, right? So what I would do there is I will wait for a price action pattern here. So if I get a candlestick, like let's say a hammer opening range breakout inside bar Fibonacci, that's what I would be looking for because that increases my odds. I'm not going to just take the breakout blindly of the previous day's high because I want to see the price action to confirm my bias before I take those type of setups. Does that make sense? When I'm swing trading, then I go for the breakout because it's on a higher time frame on the weekly chart. So for example, with Roku, we took the breakout of the bar, which is a lot different than what I'm saying to do for day trading. We took the breakout of the bar. Oops, I think I lost the, one sec, let me just Control Z all this so I get back to my entry. I think my entry got moved just a little bit. Where are we? Yeah, there's the entry. Okay. When I'm playing on a weekly time frame, I'm anticipating that if we break the week's high, that there's going to be a squeeze because the week's high is a lot more powerful than the daily high, right? Because there's more trapped shorts. There's more trapped traders in the weekly bar. So when I'm swing trading, I'm looking for breakouts. But when I am day trading, I'm looking more for the price action patterns to confirm. All right. So I hope that makes sense. You could also, like you suggest, take the break of the high of the daily inside bar, but I don't think the win rate will be as good. So that's why I wouldn't do it. I would wait for the price action pattern to confirm. All right. Pratam says, do you consider any catalyst or potential catalyst alongside with IB swings, or do you only look at IB for selecting swings? So the biggest thing that I look at is the volume and the trap traders. Any news I completely ignore, and I always ignore, because when you trade for a long time, you'll learn that news is irrelevant because it can happen at any time and it's something out of your control. So anything that's out of your control, you ignore and you move on. And the other thing about news is even if it's positive news, the stock can still tank. And even if it's negative news, the stock can still go up. So news is irrelevant, right? The only thing is if you're going into earnings and you're already in a position, then that's a different story. Then you want to protect and scale out, etc. But in terms of being a price action trader, I'm looking mostly for the price action patterns with the volume. That's pretty much it. And you need to keep trading simple. And if you were, so let me give you an example, right? So for the past few weeks, maybe the past month, many were talking about the stock market's going to crash, right? On Twitter, on news, whatever. Things like, oh, we're below the 50 exponential moving average. The Fed, this is funding, blah, blah, blah. Does not matter. You just need to follow your plan, follow your systems, and trade. And as long as you are consistent with your methodology, you're going to win in the long run. That's the key. Be consistent with your methodology and you're going to win in the long run. All right. And that's what I do. Nowadays, I've gotten to the point where I detach myself from the outcome of the trade. As long as I take good trades, then I've done my job as a trader. I've done my job if I take good trades. The outcome of the trade does not matter because the outcome is out of my control. What matters is, am I getting in at the right place? Is my stop loss in the right place? Am I sizing correctly? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And if you can honestly answer them and say that you're correctly following your system, you're following your targets, your exits, your stops, your sizing, then that's all you can worry about at the end of the day, right? Like when I take these trades, like when I take Roku, for example, I don't know if it's going to be a winner. Let's look at Roku like this, okay? This is how the Roku chart looks to me when I'm taking the trade. And that looks pretty bearish. That looks pretty scary, right? We had a big drop. We had a 40% drop from the highs. That looks pretty scary, but I don't let those emotions get to me ever. I focus on my setup. And like I said, what did I see? Inside bar. And I saw a false breakdown by the bears. And I understood if we got above this high, we could break through these wicks. And that's what happens. So that's my style. That's my system. And I just stick to it. But great questions from everyone so far. I really like the questions. We have some chart requests that we can start looking at. So if you guys have any chart requests, please throw them in there. And I'm gonna go through the ones that we had posted here, and then we can talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. So let's see, FISP. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. This stock kind of reminds me of Visa that I'm playing actually recently. But we have this right here is the moment of truth. We have, are we going to accelerate and continue into all-time highs, or is this going to be a double top? That's pretty much what's going on right now. What I'm seeing here is, you know, I wish I seen this stock earlier, because look at this beautiful inside bar back down here. This was the inside bar as well as this inside bar that led to the potential break of the all-time highs. So this was a great setup here. If any of you had played it, very, very great. Even this one right here, if you took it short, you still could have made 1.5 times your money there. So pretty much that's a very good inside bar setup. So this is a great chart. So like I said, either going to be a double top or it's going to be a continuation into new highs. And this bar right here was the trap, right? We could see the bears tried the double top already. We had an inside bar short and we got reversed on with a hammer. So pretty much as long as we can stay above that 118.44, right around there, the bulls have control because of the fact that the bears are kind of trapped in a double top trade right now. How do you find stocks with relative strength? So that's a good question. So let's look at Visa. Visa is something that I posted today on Twitter. I posted the setup for you guys. I'm not sure how much of you took the setup, but I did take this setup long on Visa, and I'm already up a good bit. So I'm up right now half an hour, which is pretty good. And this is an example of relative strength, is looking for stocks that are making new all-time highs. While other stocks are consolidating or other stocks are dropping, looking for stocks that are making new all-time highs, that shows relative strength. And really, to really find relative strength, you need to be trading. When you trade, like I'm in the market every single week, I'm swing trading, I'm doing different things, and I can see the different sectors like financial sector, energy, tech, healthcare, airlines. I see them in real time, how they react, right? And because I see them in real time and how they react, I get to understand which stocks are leading. So it's really, you got to be in the market to see that, right? You can't, unless you run a scanner and then you look for stocks that are making new highs, you can do that also. Peloton. So what happened with Peloton? We tried Peloton, and I don't know. I can't remember if we lost, or I don't think we lost Peloton. Let me just pull this up quickly. So I was watching this very closely, this double inside bar pattern for Peloton back here, and I can't remember. I think we lost on this trade. Let me just look at it real quick. Yeah, so we lost on Peloton. So it was unfortunate. So it looks like I had the right idea with it, but we got poked out here with this this lower bar. So we did get stopped out on Peloton, but my concept was having this major support here which was a previous low, acting as a double bottom here, and then we had this double inside bar pattern. It was looking very, very good, guys. Very, very good. Unfortunately, it got stopped out, but that's okay. I have to honor my system and follow my rules. So I just put this on the back burner and then wait for the next setup. But yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get to your request per time. Let me just finish RXP. So TMUS. So T-Mobile. Look how powerful that is. Nice, beautiful bull trend. And we have a potential inside week right now, potentially closing as an inside week for Friday. So I will be watching this if we do close inside, but definitely if we can close above these wicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, we would likely continue to make new all-time highs. DKS. So that's Dix. Again, so these charts are great charts that our friend is sharing with us because they are showing relative strength. They're all making new all-time highs. Personally, if I was trading Dix, I would have been already in this trade in this inside bar hammer. I would have already been in this trade right off of that. But it's working on another inside week. So definitely let's see how this inside week, if it finishes as an inside week, that will be a great trading opportunity. Newbie says, have you done Tesla yet? No. So I'll get there. INTC. I have a weird relationship with Intel. I was actually looking to play Intel back here on this inside bar. And if I played Intel back here, I would have made pretty much double or triple my money. The reason I didn't play Intel was because if you notice how tight the range was, so if something bad happened, like a gap down, I would have been trapped. So that's why I didn't play it, but it would have been a great trade. But overall, what I see with Intel, the analysis that I did is that it's been in a range, really. It's not been trending. It's just been in this range. So anytime something is in a range, it's going to take a lot of effort to break out. So until we really break out of the range, look for Intel to really just keep chopping around. All right, so let's go to the chat request. So we have Apple, and Apple, is that Apple with an inside bar? Yeah, so the inside bar we had on Apple was back on the 12th, and that one has produced a nice winner. So on the weekly chart, I wish there were some inside bars to play, but definitely right here, if we take it from the low to the high, we can see that we had a nice 618. Look at this. Beautiful. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like if this doesn't convince you about the fibs, I don't know what will. Like look at the robots. They're just loading in at the 618, have a nice little pop, and they probably made a few million or billion or whatever the hell they do. So that's an awesome trade. Is IB a stock? No. Where did you see the IB inside bar for Apple? What time frame? And let's look at Square. What did I do with Square? These are all old trades. I don't think I took anything recently. No. But with Square here, there's a very interesting candle because we could see that we did try to push the all-time highs and got rejected. So basically bracketing this candle would be a good approach for next week. The breakout of that range will likely determine kind of the next leg. So you're looking at the daily. Oh yeah, so Square, there's a daily inside, so that's nice. And then was it an inside bar for Apple? Really? Is that inside? I don't think that's inside. Let's see, the high 135, and ooh, wow. You guys see that? The high yesterday was 135, the high today was 135. Let's take a look at the price action. Wow. Look at that. So the high 135, and then the high today 135, which is right there, 134.99. So guys, this is why I always draw, like you guys know, when I day trade, I always draw the previous day's high and the previous day's low, and this is an exceptional, beautiful reason why. So, okay, where were we? Square, Amazon, Netflix, Goose. Yeah, so these are all great setups, per time. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Yeah. So all of these stocks, guys, Amazon, Netflix, Goldman Sachs, guys, keep an eye on them tomorrow. There's a lot of opportunity with those inside bars. Matthew says, sorry, Rich, one more. Could you review how you draw fib extensions intraday and daily, weekly? So, Matt, I would say check out my YouTube videos on the topic. So let me show you. If we just go to my channel here, guys, there's no way I can explain it like everything. My book goes through everything in detail, but where the hell is my? But the videos that I did on YouTube are really well. So let's click on that. So right here, these ones. So Fibonacci reversal, Fibonacci trading, day trading Fibonacci levels. Watch those 3 videos. Those are going to help you a lot with the Fibonacci. Okay, so check that out. If you have specific examples that you want me to look at, let me know and we can go through them. Where were we? Tesla, yes, Tesla. So if you guys remember, with Tesla, right when we were here, I took a short on Tesla because of this inside bar and the fact that we had this big wick rejection that was a false break into all-time highs. So I did cover my short a long time ago. I could have probably got a little bit more. I kind of covered around here, but you know, you're not going to get every single thing, right? So after that, this is what really caught my attention, this double inside bar pattern. And I did have an order for Tesla around here, but I closed the order because it was consolidating a little bit more. So definitely, this is just the same pattern like you see on Roku, where we have a pullback, right? So if we take a fib from low to high, we have a pullback to the 618, the exact same thing, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Do not forget the opposing leg, right? So this is what I talk about in my book. This is what a lot of people do not understand about Fibonacci, is there's going to be an opposing leg. There's going to be the opposite, guys. There's always going to be the opposite. In the world, there's always 2 sides to the story, okay? And exactly the same thing with trading. Yes, we have a 618 pullback for the bulls, but we also have a 618 pullback for the shorts. And this is exactly why we had a rejection to over here, because of the 618. So there is a battle. It's not going to be very simple. It's not going to be simple because there are shorts, right? So let me give you an example. If you were me, right, and I shorted over here and I made, let's say, $10,000, do you not think that I'm going to try to short again? Because I already made $10,000 on Tesla. I'm willing to try and short again for another potential move down. So this is what you have to understand, is that there's always 2 sides to the coin. Always, 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 okay? So until this 618 battles this 618 and we have a resolution, we are going to be in a battle. We're going to be in a battle for the bulls and the bears, and that's what the market's about. That's what Trading Wars is about. There's always a battle between the bulls and the bears. Always, always, right? So just be careful. Understand that here's another thing to understand. The S&P 500 is making new all-time highs, but Tesla is not. And that is a bad sign. That's a sign of relative weakness, right? Tesla's not making new all-time highs while the S&P is. So if things start to go a little bit sideways, Tesla may go first, right? That's possible. So keep those concepts in the back of your mind. At the end of the day, as a trader, what could we have done as a trader? So I want to see what your guys' thoughts are. So let me throw this question out here. How could you have capitalized on this trade, both long and short? What can you do as a trader to maximize your opportunity? What can you do, right? What can you do as a trader? Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to read Sam's question. Energy daily inside bar setups near all-time high is SM, kind of choppy lately, no trend. Curious if you think it's an okay setup. Yeah, definitely looks pretty decent. I'm concerned about that chop right there because, obviously this was meant to trap a lot of traders. But because we're at the later end of the chop, eventually the range is going to break either to the upside or to the downside. So if you're going to take a chance, know your risk, but definitely potential here. If we can get above these highs, we can potentially see a breakout. Hey, Rich. Okay, let's read Pritam's question. After a morning leg, if price moves lower or higher, do you move the fib to the new high or low? Yes. Let's see. So when we're trading the morning leg and the afternoon leg, they're different. The afternoon leg of the Fibonacci, you have to take the full range of the day from the full high to the full low. Okay? That's what I do. When I'm trading the morning leg, it's whatever the price action is in front of me, right? Like wherever it is at the moment, that's what I'm going to be looking at for the fibs. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So I didn't really see too much answers on Tesla, but let me share with you guys what a great trader can do. What we can do on Tesla is two things. Okay. So the first thing is we knew that over here, this was the 618. Okay. So let's take it from this pivot, pull it up. So we knew that this was a 618. Okay. So how do we take advantage of that? Okay. So as you guys know, I like to use limit orders or I like to use the price action pattern. So let's just say here we took Tesla at the 618 with a stop on the 886 like that, right? So we've already hit 1-to-1. Okay. So this is how you would trade Tesla as a professional. So you would start off with the long, okay? Because the long trades first. You get your 1-to-1, you take some profits, then you put the stop loss to break even. Okay. So now whatever happens on the long side, you are in the trade, you already locked in some money, and whatever happens, it doesn't matter. And then you do the same thing for the short side. So you draw the fib from the high to the low, and you're going to short on the 618, stop on the 886. And right now you're up a tiny bit of profit, but that doesn't matter because this is your hedge. Okay. So now you have a risk-free trade on the long side. And if your short can come and tag here, then you're going to have a risk-free trade on the short side. Then you're going to also be able to move your stop loss down. So then you're actually long and short in Tesla at the same time, locked in money, and are now waiting for the outcomes. Okay. So does that make sense? That's a little bit advanced, but I want to share with you guys. All right, so let me know if that makes sense. So you could buy shares and sell shares. You could buy naked calls and sell and buy puts. You could do advanced strategies and options, like whatever, I'm not an expert with the advanced options, but I guess Matthew says a strangle. Yep, you could do something like that. But wouldn't going short closing the long positions? No, David. So if you're doing, okay, so I'll give you an example. So if you're doing options, you can buy calls and buy puts. Okay, that's an example. But personally, I have different accounts. So one account might be just for longs, and one account might just be for shorts. That's how I do it. Also, the other option is doing an advanced option play, like Matthew suggested, like a strangle. That's how you can maximize. But guys, what my point is sorry. What my point is we just want to take high probability setups. That's what the point is. We don't care what happens. We don't care if it goes to all-time highs. We don't care if it crashes. We care about doing the right thing as a trader and putting ourselves in high risk to reward situations. That's what we care about. So we care about, am I gonna be able to make some money and then have a risk-free trade and also be protected to the downside? That is the question you have to ask yourself. That is your job as a trader. Your job is not to predict if it's going to go to all-time highs because nobody knows, right? A professional will tell you that they are more focused on the probabilities and risk to reward, whereas a newbie and all the furus will be trying to predict where this is going to go. You have to be completely out of your mind to think you can predict where Tesla is going to go. Okay, especially Tesla. It is a crazy stock. It does whatever the hell it wants to do. Instead, as a professional, we need to ask ourselves, how can I make money to the upside and to the downside? That's the question. All right. So, okay, back to the requests. What do we have? JKS. I have no idea what this is. And personally, for me, there was some nice inside bar shorts here, but with this type of price action, with like this kind of manipulation, I would stay very far away from that type of instrument. I would not play that. All right. So we have Plug, Spice, and URA. Let's just look at these quickly. Plug. So we had a trade set up on Plug to go long, okay, right here. And we did not, this is why I use stop limit orders, right? So I looked at Plug and I was like, okay, Plug does kind of look like a good buy because we had a huge drop and we had a nice inside bar, double inside bar. So I had an entry right here. And as you guys can see, Plug gapped down and it opened over here. So I never got filled on the long position. So this is why I love using stop limit orders, because I want to get filled when it's going in my favor, right? If I just bought blindly, I would be shitting my pants right now, right? So this is, so Plug, I'm going to cancel my trade right there. I'm going to cancel this order and then I'm going to reset and look for another opportunity, right? So what do we have? Plug, Spice, and URA. So this looks exactly like Plug, double inside bar breakdown. Okay. So Spice did come up on my radar, but I was not interested in playing it because of the huge drop that we had. It turned me off in playing it because it definitely seems like there's more manipulation than technical analysis happening in that name. So I'm kind of staying away from Spice, but I don't mind day trading it. It's decent. UWA, Uranium Etf. So we had some beautiful inside bars right here, 1 and 2, that did produce great winners. So if I were playing this, I would have been long over here. And kind of right now, just waiting for the next setup, really, right? Just really waiting for the next setups. Gidrius says, how do you scale out? I mean, percentage-wise, 1 hour, how many percentage, and so on when you move stop loss. So that's a very good question. So it depends if I'm day trading or swing trading. Where when I swing trade, I have a complete rules that I follow and how I scale out. And when I'm day trading, I have different rules. So really, it's honestly comes down to personal preference, because as long as you do scale out, you will make money, obviously, because you're locking in profits. But it depends on, if you're looking at day trading, for example, it depends on the setup. If it's an inside bar, I have a different target. If it's a Fibonacci, I have a different target, right? So in my book, I talk about Fibonacci extensions. So if I'm trading Fibonacci, I'll be using the extensions to help guide me. So that's how I determine my risk to reward and percentages and all that. When I'm doing inside bars, I have different rules. And I have different rules on different time frames, like on the 5-minute, on the 15-minute chart. But as a new trader, my advice to you is always do something when you get to 1 hour. So always do something. It's not about making all of the money that you can on a trade, because you're never going to make 100% of the potential gains. You're never going to make 100%. But what is important is having a process that you can execute every single day, and you can have something that's generating consistent profits. Okay. So generally for day trading, when you get there, you should either scale out or move your stop loss up. Okay. That is a good habit to have to protect yourself. How much you want to scale out depends on you, really does. If you want to be a home run trader, you can make a lot of money, but you have to be consistent. So for example, if you're always going to go for 3R, then you need to stick with that, right? In every single setup that you take. But if you want to just scalp and hit 1R, like I have a lot of traders in my Discord, like Ken, he's here, and Keisha, who I interviewed on my channel. They don't mind going for 1-to-1, you know, because they just want to lock in some profits and have a profitable day. And that's totally fine. And that suits their personality, right? So it really depends on the person. But from what I could tell you from my back testing, both ways can make money in the long run. Trading for the home run style or trading for the scalping style, both can make money. So it really depends on you, what you can execute. So I hope that makes sense. So what I would do is whatever you're trading, whatever it is, like let's say you're trading SPY or whatever, do a little back test of different targets like 1, 2, 3R. And from there, find out which one is making the most money and which one has a good win rate, and then pick that one. So you're saying you're taking 50% off at 1R, and that's totally fine. That's totally up to you. And that definitely can work. Just remember that you need to have a written plan. Okay. So that's my advice. Have a written plan. And what a good idea is, and what I do is so for the next 20 to 30 trades that you take, right? Write them all down in Excel spreadsheet like I do. And then I want you to go back and say, well, if I took 50% off at 2R, or if I took 75% off at 1R, like just play with the scenarios, right? So after you have, let's say 20 to 30 trades of your trades, I want you to go back and look at those trades and then play the scenarios out. Like if I went for 2R, if I went for 3R, if I move my stop loss to break even. Those are the things that you can test through back testing to help improve your skills. All right. So that's what I do. You know, I'm always adapting, changing, getting better. Otherwise, we're going to get left behind. So with Riot here, I don't really see a technical setup. I would like to see this mid Bollinger Band pull in a little bit, maybe pull back a little bit more here. But definitely the big play was that beautiful inside bar back on the 1st of February. TGT. No problem. My pleasure. Yeah, so Target is working on an inside bar close. So we're going to keep eyes on that for if it does close inside, then we can have a potential setup into next week. Okay. So just keep eyes on that. See how it closes tomorrow. Mara and Delta Airlines. So let's see Mara. So the initial call out on Mara was back here on the 4th of February. And I did also call out this, and this was actually a great short, guys. Look how beautiful that short was. So I did call this out on the 13th earlier this week. So that was a great short. So Mara is really a stock I like more for day trading. I don't really like swing trading. It's very volatile, but when it comes to day trading, there's always great opportunities. Delta Airlines. Yeah, I'm not really interested in the airlines right now, guys. I think, you know, they've been through a lot and I'm not really a fan. So I don't really swing trade them. If it comes to a day trade, that's totally different. But definitely these names are very, very hard to play in a sense. But if you can catch one of these inside bars closes, then you can have a great opportunity to play them as a day trade. Sam says, have any thoughts on outside bars or say inside bars following outside bars, etc.? No, Sam. I have experimented with many things in my trading career, and I want to keep it as simple as possible. And when we start talking about outside bars and different things, it makes trading difficult because there's a billion outside bars in the stock market, right? So now when you're trading your strategy, it makes things complicated because you have so many setups. Whereas an inside bar type of strategy, there's a limited amount right? And with that limited amount of trades, that helps me to focus, right? So I prefer the inside bars, and I just really stick to that. And I don't complicate things in my trading. I keep it very simple. Always, always, always very, very simple. I learned my lesson in my early days on trying to experiment too much and losing sight of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we want to make money. We're not here to do outside, inside, upside down, ballerina bars. It doesn't matter. We're here to make money. So what's going to make money is what matters. Daily inside bars in Lamb Research Corp. This is a nice one. I really like that. So again, looking at the open tomorrow would be a great way to play it, up against all-time highs as well. Let's look at this. Yeah. So literally the same chart, right? So it's definitely worth a shot with those inside bar setups. They look pretty good. And just like I said, manage your risk and you'll be fine. All right. So that's been an hour. That flew by. I was trying to keep it to half an hour because I know you guys are busy, but we got an hour in, and I think I covered some good topics. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I've gone through the swing trading recap of the request, and I've also showed you guys this is what my personal swing trades are in the swing trading room, and we're doing pretty well this month. And I'm very happy about that, and I'm hoping we can continue to make some money. At the end of the day, we just want to make money and help people. Like, that's it. Make money and help people. Okay? And keep it like it's very simple for me. Making money allows me to help more people. Making money allows me to be the best version of myself. Making money allows me to help my community and help my family. And that's why when I come to the stock market, I keep it very serious and very professional. I try to follow my strategies. I don't change my strategies. I do not do that at all. I stay on the course. And helping people gives me unlimited energy. I was tired before I jumped on this call, and now talking to you guys, I feel like I can go for another hour. Helping people, guys, there's so many secrets in the universe. Helping people is one of them. All right. Giedrius says it's 3 a.m. in Europe, sleep time. Yep, I totally agree with you on that one. You should go to bed. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. Matthew says, I really don't know why there aren't hundreds of people here. I really don't know myself either, but you know what, Matthew? I did get sick, and I couldn't do Sunday stock talks. Like, you can hear it. I'm still suffering from this cough, and I lost a lot of momentum, which really hurt me. Like, emotionally, I felt pretty sad about it because I felt like I was, on a roll. But that's how life is sometimes, and just trying to bounce back here. And I did a lot of thinking, and I just came back to the same thing, that my purpose is to help humanity and help my neighbors, my friends, my community, my family achieve financial freedom, independence. And, whether it's 19 people or 190 people or 1900 people, if I can help a few people, that goes a long way, because you can help your community, you can help your family. And the biggest thing that I want to teach people is how not to blow up their account, because that's the biggest issue that 95% of traders face, is blowing up their account. So if we can fix the first problem, not blowing up your account, then we're already on a great trajectory to do well in the stock market. Prabjot says, thanks a lot. Thank you. Tommy says, thanks once again. Thank you. Giadrius says, I use Fibs on crypto last 3 years. Perfect. Love it. And your info helps now in stocks. Yeah, it works very well in crypto as well as the inside bars. So keep an eye out for the inside bars on crypto. They work really, really well as well, guys. Everything that I teach you guys, I backtest, I studied for years, and I'm confident in it. I'm not going to sell you guys or teach you guys bullshit. I'm not going to talk about RSI and MACD because they don't work. They don't work. Okay? They do not. I'm not going to talk to you guys about it. It doesn't work. Fibs, inside bars, they're the real deal. And I can tell you that's six years of experience. I'm telling you that. All right. Brett says, do you think TSM is worth a swing or day trade, or if it gaps up? So let's look at TSM. Is this the right one? So I think the trade for TSM was actually back on the 14th, which was basically, well, basically today was the trade. If we go to 5-minute chart, right? Look at this. So we had the previous day's low right here. Okay, so let's just do that here. So this was the setup. You could have either done an opening range breakout right there, or don't, the fib I think is very shallow, but it still works. That's a 382 right there with the doji. So you could have tried there. So I think the trade on TSM was pretty much today. For when it comes to day trading, if it's not an inside bar close like this, I'm not going to play it. So I'm not allowed to take a trade tomorrow on TSM as an example. So I just really try to keep my rules intact. So let's look at the weekly chart. Maybe there's something there that I'm missing. Not really. Like we had this nice waterfall with this hammer. So this was a great trade there, but we're definitely pulling back now. So anything is possible from this point. So I don't really see anything too nice, but this was beautiful back up here at all-time highs. That was a nice trade. Even this one down here was a nice trade. So you see, like I like to catch stocks that are kind of in this phase where they have those inside bars and then they start going vertical like that. You see that? And then when we pull back here, things can get really choppy. So you just have to be careful. All right. So that's it for me. Thank you very much again for your time, guys. And then the next time we'll be chatting is on Sunday Stock Talk. I'm happy to be back and contributing to helping the community and just sharing my knowledge. So I will see you guys on Sunday Stock Talk. And thank you again. And if you have any questions, you can always message me directly, or you can save them for the next Stock Talk. And let's go out there tomorrow and let's have a good day, and let's make as much money as we can and help each other out. All right. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Matthew. Have a great evening.